All right, so from one trailblazer to the next, Rory and myself attended the B-Sides concert without Maul. Maul was too Hollywood to come with us.
No,
We assumed he was behind like the drummer or the bass player the whole time.
Yeah, we thought
We
thought you were still there, man.
Nah, I
thought you was
wasn't
on
there.
stage.
I felt like I was there. Everybody else was there.
It was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people there. But shit sold out in fucking 2 seconds, so I guess.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
we knew that.
Hove and Webster Hall.
Right.
And I get it that was the reopening of Webster Hall, but I wouldn't mind seeing that show in a bigger venue.
Yeah.
More,
Well, he-
more
I mean, I
people,
like the
more
intimacy
seating.
of it because it's B-sides. Like, let's keep it a small stage.
Anything under 5,000 people is going to be intimate with
That's
Hov.
very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I mean, but this was even smaller because he did Terminal 5, I think, for the first one, which is probably double the size of that ballroom in Webster Hall.
Right.
So this was even more, felt like Hove at SOBs almost. Like how close you were, even if you were in the back of the room, to Hove on that small-ass stage with a full band. Like, it didn't look normal,
Yeah.
but in a good way.
They had the entire block blocked off. Police couldn't drive up or down it. Very secure space. Everything as I would expect with a concert of that magnitude.
I just thought it was a bar that the passes were real money. That was crazy to me.
That was not real money.
It was.
Well, the pass I had wasn't real money.
You sure? You might want to
pretty
check
sure.
that again.
Oh,
You threw
no,
that
I'm
shit
sure.
away?
I'd have spent that. No, they had the crib. They had the crib, but not the passes I had weren't real money.
Oh, and the passes that I saw was real. It was real $20 bills.
Oh, see, mine
That might have been
mine
like the
was a
cooler
5.
backstage.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah,
to me.
nigga
I was
gave me a
like,
5.
I was laughing at that shit. Like, yo, this is the pass is real money. Like, okay, I hear that.
That's some different type shit.
Yeah, no, very different.
Some rich shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
The live band looked great back there.
Yeah, 1,500 or nothing. I want to shout. I mean,
Oh, is
cut
that
you
what that
off,
was?
But yeah, I just want to make sure they are shouted out. 1,500 or nothing. Smoke that shit. Guru,
Hove does
all
great
them.
at going to get like the right people.
Yeah.
Well, the right people want to get with Hove.
Yeah. Easy.
But he's worked with 1,500 for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, that's not their first time.
I
getting
know,
together.
but it makes sense.
Makes all the sense in the
That
world.
makes all the sense in the universe that that's 1,500. I didn't know.
But yeah, them just going from doing arenas with him and them and Guru and all them trying to get the sound right in there, that was one of the most crisp. And I've thrown a lot of shit in Webster Hall that some of y'all have been to. It don't sound that great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit sounded perfect in there.
Well, I was looking at the setup just because you got to pay attention to details, and it looked different from the normal setup. It looked like some added shit going on in
Wait,
the sky.
you mean it wasn't the same setup from Duce Palooza?
No.
No,
Really?
no.
Whole
guys
different
don't think so?
production team.
Yeah.
Whole different production setup.
Really?
Yeah, a whole different
Damn,
vibe.
I didn't even think.
But the sound did
I
sound.
didn't even think. Who would never know?
The sound did sound really, really good.
yeah, very, very crisp. You could tell every single instrument was leveled to fucking perfection.
I gotta say, he smoked that set list. I gotta be honest. He smoked that set list.
Because I was judging off the first B-side list, I looked at that on our way to the venue, and I was like, all right, he's going to have to dig if he wants. Because he did real B-sides at that first one. He's going to have to dig to, like, S. Carter collection shit at this point. And them shits was like C-sides. I don't know how he knew the lyrics to that. I don't care how much time he had prior. You're a machine to remember that specific set list of things you've never performed.
Well, I mean, when you write songs, I mean, it doesn't take. I mean, I'm sure Joe can attest to that. You take about 2 or 3 days, and you pretty much it comes to
Freshen up.
you. Yeah.
Muscle memory kicks in.
Yeah, but if you spit that once in your whole life, is that still muscle memory?
Yeah.
Like, I'm asking.
I would
Is,
assume.
is
so.
there songs like, if there was a Clue freestyle that you had, would it still have muscle memory?
No.
That's why I think this is insane. Like,
Well,
you can
but I
always
think
think of
if
a
you-
record you perform mad times. Of course, muscle memory will kick in then. But if it's some shit that you did one off real quick, this was one time,
Let
I'm
me
never
tell you
performing it
something.
again.
It was some of them records that he was performing that I thought to myself, I would judge you if you don't know the words to this.
but
If he skipped a beat in Allure, I would have looked at him totally different.
I don't count Allure on there.
Yeah, no, Lord, he's performed plenty of times.
Well, like the records I wanted to hear, like even if shit came
Somehow,
out
some
to him,
way, I don't think he's ever performed that.
he should know that one.
But still, if we go by one take Hove, he spit it once in his life. He's never spit it again.
Wait, hold up, Rory. I I never believed One Take Hove when he said it.
I know you didn't.
All right, I'm not doing this.
No, I've seen him spit a verse without stopping. But not saying that he doesn't do that all the time.
There we go.
No, he doesn't do that all the time.
That's all.
I've definitely seen him spit 30 to 40 bars.
Okay,
I'm
but
sure
Well,
Hove's probably
even-
punched in once or twice in his career.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
One punch Hove.
6-punch Hove.
Okay, but even if you
Hove
did
is
just
the nigga that came and made punching seem whack, right? What that One Take Hove? What do you mean one
He
take?
yeah,
I'm
after
gonna
he said-
punch in after
yeah,
these
yeah.
4 bars. Fuck is you talking about?
and I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah,
because I'll
not-
forget it.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing.
Well, no, I'm saying even if it is just one night that you spit that, how many times you punched in, I still think that's amazing.
Oh,
Still
it's
do.
definitely, it's
I think there's no
definitely-
muscle memory.
Give
there.
us some more of the set list for the people who were unable to attend.
It was a lot of songs, right? It was 20-something songs.
Yeah, I can run through it quick. Some people hate "Don't You Know," "Come and Get Me."
Oh my, he did come and wait. Stop.
Yeah,
stop.
but he did.
Some of this stuff he took off my list.
Oh, the one that you sent him.
100%. Because he said, sure enough, these songs ain't on my list. Come and Get Me wasn't on it. Fam, I almost lost my mind when Come and Get Me came on. I ain't have a fedora on. I didn't have a fedora on, but man, I had to look nuts in there. But everybody was like that. That's why, Mo, whatever you heard was happening about mice, like, I can't be mad. I can't be mad at anybody being in that building and reciting shit word for word, like being fanned out. Fam, I was in the back upstairs with my eyes closed, look with my head in the sky, rapping words with a cup in my hand, chilling, having a blast. I wasn't even looking. I couldn't see the stage, and I didn't want to see the stage.
Yeah, well, me and Biggs was talking Saturday night, and you know it's always fun to hear him talk about it because he was there from the beginning. He's still in awe of a lot of shit that Jay does, and he was saying, he was like, you know, it's crazy because he doesn't get to be a fan. Like Biggs is never really a fan, and that was like one of the first nights where he was like in the crowd and he just wanted to experience it with the crowd. And he said, he was like, yo, Hove he's our Frank Sinatra. Like
Definitely.
100%.
Hove he'll be 50 years old in December, right? And he's still as sharp as he is. He's still as innovative as he is. He's brought the culture 25, 30 years with him. And his audience is now grown and they have kids and they probably have grandkids. And he's still the top dog. Like, you know, we talk about Jay a lot on this podcast, but it's
Wait,
because
let me not cut you off, but I think it was me and you. 6 years ago, we was having a conversation about Jay being the first 50-year-old rapper to drop an album, and people want to hear it. Like, people want to hear him rap.
absolutely.
So now here we are. He's about to be 50.
And it still feels like he's
And that
35.
stands.
and doing it in the correct way. Because hip hop's so young. This is really the first rapper, and no disrespect to the other older rappers, that we've seen age so gracefully and give us a blueprint, no pun, on how to age and rap. Because we've seen how the rock
Exactly.
and roll artists, how they age. All right, they're just going to do a world tour. They'll put out 6 greatest hits records, then maybe slip one in. We've never seen hip hop age.
And
Right.
let me jump in before y'all listen to Rory and get fucked. Y'all don't all have to watch Hove and do it that way.
No, of
There-
course
there,
not.
there are a million other great
Yes.
older rappers that you could watch and emulate and add some shit to. That's why.
Oh, that's not what I was saying at all.
No, I know. I know you weren't. I just didn't want other people to misconstrue some shit.
No, of course not.
Yeah, that set list he smoked. I was up there having a fucking blast. He didn't skip a beat on the words. And then you brought out Cam and Jim. Oh my Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Just
Cam
showing growth, you know, like we grown now. All of that shit it's in the past.
that
Man.
specifically felt great for New York because I felt like that was the last one left,
Yeah.
kind of with our older beefs,
Yes.
was Cam and Jay.
And oh God, I love the fact that he finally addressed the 92 brick shit. Now everybody can shut the fuck up. Like I'm so glad he
Like,
did
what'd he
that.
say?
That was like typical Jay shit. Like
In the-
letting
in the-
us know that he pays attention to
in
the
the
internet and the
freestyle.
memes and see what's
Yeah,
going
you-
on. I hear y'all talking like, and now y'all can shut up. Like this is what happened. It was only $1,000 off each that I lost. So it's 92,000. That wasn't shit. Shut the fuck up now.
Well,
that
to
was
some
great.
of us, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, understandably, a lot of people was like, nah, that means he lost $1 million. Like, no, it wasn't like that. But that
I
was
like
dope.
the fact that he addresses things. But I
Oh my
agree. He
God!
could've-
And the way he does it, and even the nip shit, that was beautiful. I mean, just you know, his way of paying homage to Nip. I mean, that was just dope.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly get in the rest of the before we got into the Nip shit, because that caused some controversy. I wasn't sure if there was anything else on the set list. I thought the Nas shit.
Oh, look at Rory improving with the segues. Hold up, Maul, because that caused a stir of controversy.
A stir.
Hey, I see you, my guy. You heard him?
I'm letting him cook.
Nah,
Listen, man.
go ahead, nigga. Read that shit.
Yeah, do your thing. Let me shut the fuck up.
The Nas shit, which I think they have this wrong. I don't think it was just Success, World Is Yours, Dead Prez. They have Dead Prez 2. He definitely spit Dead Prez 1 in there. And I feel like...
I thought that was me spitting that shit in there.
I'm sure it'll be on time.
I ain't hear Hov at all. I was killing that.
That Nas back and forth shit with a band was insane. Like, the fact that you got that cue every time for those transitions as a full band was nuts.
And Biggs was telling me something. He rhymed. Did he spit Nas's verses and Nas spit Jay's verses, or
no? They
with
flipped
Nas's
it.
beats?
He would spit Dead Prez on, if I remember correctly, World Is Yours, and then he would spit World Is Yours on Dead Prez. Well,
Got it.
It kind of kept going back and forth, so I can't say they did the full thing on there.
Yeah, it was great.
But the band just kept switching back and forth.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, it was
I'm
great.
sure it'll be on title soon. I'm sure they'll.
Yeah, I was looking for it.
Soon.
There was a lot of cameras, a lot of big cameras up on that balcony, so I can't assume that this is not going to be something on Netflix at this point.
Oh yeah, Homecoming Part 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
Amen.
Mossy
You ain't got to give me the 60. I'll take the 40.
Yeah, yeah, bust down.
You know Hov coming in on the back end with some slick shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me 45. I have B do a walkthrough.
Yeah,
a walkthrough at the office.
Yeah, come take pictures with you.
But now, once I saw it wasn't on title as like a live stream like the first one, I was like, all right, they definitely saving this for HBO.
Maul is so lucky I didn't come to the club that night.
What night?
when you was on the couch with Beyonce and Hov. You were lucky.
Why?
Fam, who was in there that was going to have the jokes that I was going to have?
But Rory was there. He was where I was standing was absolutely necessary. It was like super tight, super packed.
That's not what I didn't say. I just said who in there was gonna have the type of jokes that I would have had in that predicament.
On me?
Stupid ass me want to be in the car taking us getting some Z's. I'd have lit your ass up. I would have lit your ass up on that couch.
I was standing there chilling.
It was a lovely evening. We had a really good time.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
I was chilling, bro. I was trying to be in the cut as much as possible. It wasn't possible over there.
You were in the cut like a Band-Aid. Roy, you want to tell us about the stir of controversy that was out there?
If I may.
Yeah, get that fucking
Harrison, can you zoom in on Rory a little bit?
Can you zoom in on Rory a little bit? First of all, I always want to zoom in on Rory a little bit.
Pause.
Fine.
All right.
Fine.
So I have the freestyle.
On the Zoom, I got it.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
That's nasty like that. Y'all nasty. I never want to zoom in on Rory.
All right, let's listen to the controversy.
Okay.
Like that bass line.
Gentrify your own hood before these people do it. Claim eminent domain and have your people moving. That's a small glimpse into what Nipsey was doing. For anybody still confused as to what he was doing. The neighborhood designed to keep us trapped. They redlined it, so property declines if you live by blacks. They depress the asset and take the property back. It's a ruthless but a genius plan in fact. So now we fighting over scraps. Crabs in the barrel, but crabs don't belong in the barrel. They ain't never tell us that.
Told you that. Hey.
Shut up.
So in the barrel, we gon' act like we act. We can easily get out the barrel if we stand on each other's back. Whoever gets on top, as long as they stay attached, they can pull everybody out. I was doing just that. I told neighborhood nips and stay close. $100 million on your schedule, lay low. Tell your team to be on point in the places that they go. I never dreamed to get killed in the place that he called home. How we gonna get in power with you the sauce? Y'all like to run off on the plug, so of course.
He smoked that line.
That ain't lit, that's a means to an end. Me and my team was playing the plug ahead of plan. Sometimes we was only making 1,000 a joint. That ain't no money, but that ain't their point. So those 92 bricks was only 92,000. So y'all can close your mouth, it ain't nothing for y'all to wow.
Ooh, stop wowing.
But it is something to study. We was chasing our goals, not chasing money. Niggas chasing hoes, we find that funny. I pull up in the roads, that hoe gon' want me.
It's true.
But I don't want no hoe, I want a wife. Somebody to bounce these ideas off at night.
Oh, that's true, man.
I be be going to sleep hoping they'd visit me. That young king had a lot of jewels to split with me. And we ain't gotta leave the hood physically, but we gotta leave that shit mentally. Somehow, someway, we gotta make it up out the hood someday.
Come on,
What's this nigga
Maul.
talk about?
You gotta leave that shit mentally.
What you mean?
But you at least mentally.
I'm not in the hood mentally, nigga. Fuck you talking about? This nigga's crazy.
He smoked that.
Yeah, I liked it.
What was the
They
controversy?
ain't gonna call us dick riders, but he smoked it.
Of course they are for this whole segment. Parks, the controversy on Twitter was, from what I saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, him using the word gentrify and we should gentrify our own hoods, which led me to believe that some people don't know the definition of gentrify.
No, don't finish the controversy first. Don't get into defense mode.
Well, what was the rest of the controversy?
Well, it was that in association to his part in the Barclays Center.
Okay.
And the displacement and disenfranchisement of however many families, black families. So what people were saying was great that you get on stage now and you get on your albums now and it's black. But that wasn't the case when you were down with the whatever developmental investment team that was doing the Barclays. Now that's how I understood it anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, while I'm not a Brooklyn native, I certainly saw the changes when Barclays went under construction and how that entire neighborhood changed. But, and this, I'm not making excuses, just that whole section of Brooklyn closest to the water and then started just moving east. You know, I do see their point there in Hove being, you know, very instrumental in getting that building up and what it is to that neighborhood. So yeah, I can see their side.
How instrumental was he in doing that?
I think we give
like that's
Hove a lot more credit for the Brooklyn Nets than is on paper.
Yeah, this is no disrespect to Hope, but didn't he own like a fraction of a percent or something?
3% or some shit.
No, there was a fraction of it.
a fraction.
It was like
I thought it was 3.
0.01 or something crazy. I thought.
Well, he still owns the seats.
Well, that's the other part of the argument that I didn't really understand, and I just assumed I was too stupid to get it. But that percentage that he owned isn't enough to
Yeah, it sounds like he was kind
have
of
a
just
voice.
a celebrity face.
He was the face, but
Yeah.
that's part of their beef.
Right.
Is that you were used
Yeah.
as the face
Right.
to displace X amount of black families. I'm not from Brooklyn. I don't know what was going on down there. I don't know
same.
what was happening. What I do know, because something similar is occurring in Jersey City at the moment and has been for a little bit,
Quite some time.
is that a lot of these houses during this, whatever you want to call it, gentrification, they knock on your door and they offer you a lot more than your house is worth.
Yeah.
And then you're left with a decision to make.
Right.
So I don't know how much of that was occurring down there because I don't know how many houses were there in the first place. They say in the print it was a little used light rail.
Yeah, but also, Joe, outside of people just knocking on your door to buy your property, they would go to a lot of landlords and people that own the actual buildings, and they would pay them off, in turn kicking out the people that had been there for years paying rent. So you're putting people out in the street, and it wasn't their decision because whoever owned the building said, yeah, I'll take that bread, even though these people have been living here for generations. They've been paying rent for 80 years in this building, and they was kicking them out. So it's a little further than just...
Okay, I get it.
Like you just sold. Now you kicking people out that have been there forever, but they just been renting, and it wasn't their choice. Now they on their ass.
Right.
But isn't that what gentrification is?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is
That's part of it. Yeah. A major part
That's
of
the
it.
major part of what
Yeah.
gentrification is.
Yeah.
So the part I get lost in is when black people act like white people own gentrification.
When black people act like white people own gentrification, what do you mean?
We can gentrify.
I don't think we can though,
Sure we can. Why we can't?
because we don't really own much,
Well, you have
and
to,
we don't really have capital, and we can't go into a Jewish neighborhood and buy up property.
Yeah, because I can speak for
We can't go to
Brooklyn
Bensonhurst and buy up property.
specifically. Like when the immigrants.
that's going to lead me to what black people spend their capital on. But I totally disagree with you that we don't have capital. Actually, I think if you look it up, that we probably have quite a bit of capital. You should look that up.
Well,
But I think it's the
Not
system.
housing,
maybe not in comparison to some of the
Right.
other groups.
Right.
But are you saying that black people are unable to gentrify for those reasons that you just named?
Well, gentrify because
Then you doing
gentrify
exactly what
to
I'm
me,
saying. I ate.
No, gentrify to me means that we go into a community and start buying up everything that's not our community. And I don't think that enough of us have capital enough
Well,
to do
you're saying that's not our community, but shit, a lot of us don't own the shit in our community.
that, which is why we can't
So-
be mad when somebody comes and buys up the property.
So it don't have to be necessarily in another community. We could buy up the shit where we are, and that's what that verse is hinting
but that
at.
wouldn't be
specific to
gentrifying.
Nipsey.
I don't think that.
Sure,
No, I mean, no,
yes, it is,
the
because
definition-
gentrifying. Yeah, let's look it up.
The definition of gentrification is the process in renovating and improving a house or district.
That's it.
So that it conforms to a middle class taste.
Man, it's raising the property value.
That's all it is.
Oh, well then.
But
Yeah.
but
That's
to,
not
but
a
to the
that's
housing
not a
thing,
white.
I guess we can
That's not
gentrify,
a
but-
white specific thing, even though the system may be set up with a lot of advantages to white people. But black people have always had to fight against everything in the universe, so that's nothing new for me. And that is what he's saying in the verse.
But I think a lot of that buying property is dealing with the banks, real estate, and I think it'll be harder for black people as a whole to go to
Maul,
these banks.
everything is harder for a black person.
That's what I'm saying. It's so for us to gentrify is a lot tougher than
100%.
Yeah, it's skewed.
But
Certainly.
100%. No argument for me. But doable
yes,
and possible.
yes,
Maybe for a small percentile of people.
yes,
But very much so.
absolutely.
As he speaks to what Nipsey was doing in his hometown. And that's Jay's hometown, Brooklyn. But again, I'm not from there, so I can't really speak to the essence of how Brooklyn natives feel about that move. But can y'all speak to that? Y'all speak to how y'all feel about Jay's verse now versus his role in whatever happened with the investment group in Brooklyn and Barclays.
I think. Well,
Do you feel like it's related? Do you feel like maybe Hov was on that, realized some things, abandoned ship, and is now telling us about the lessons he's learned?
Yeah, I'm sure if he was
Yeah.
only getting
Yeah.
0.01% of the profit, he'd probably look back at it now saying, damn.
And I mean, in the story of OJ, it is only a little tiny line, but him saying I could have bought a property in Dumbo for $6 million, now that shit is worth whatever. I think Hov, like everyone else from that environment and neighborhood, had to learn. He had to know what the fuck was going on during it. So yeah, he may have made a mistake on his way with the Barclays Center, if how much influence he had with that. But yeah, you can come back on your mistakes.
I think the Brooklyn Nets thing. I think he saw it as an opportunity to do something positive for the neighborhood of Brooklyn, but didn't factor in that it was going to affect some of the people that had lived there for so many years, and it, affect them in a negative way. Like they were going to have to move, they couldn't afford where they were at anymore. So I think he kind of didn't want to be a part of that, and so he kind of backed out of it. And a lot of it too was probably just because I think they change ownership. I think the Nets went through like
They
some
did. Yeah, I
ownership
think so, yeah.
changes.
I'm sure
so
they did.
it was probably a new group that came in that he wasn't a part of.
That is true.
You know what I mean? So it's business shit that we not privy to. But I mean, a lot of it was business. But I do think a lot of it too was he saw that the community as a whole was kind of like, nah, we not feeling this like that. You know what I mean? And he's a man of the people. So I think that definitely played a part in it.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, back to what you were saying, Joe. As far as the capital conversation and things of that nature, it was tough to begin with. I'm thinking just from immigrant status from my family coming in. Immigrants from Europe were able to buy up all the property in New York City from RIP. Like the Irish, the Italians, Germans, et cetera, et cetera. We were able to buy all the property in Brooklyn, in Queens, in the Bronx, and it stayed that way. So while black people moved into all these neighborhoods, white people still owned it. They just didn't live there. So that's where this gentrification thing, it's still white people and white people doing it. They're just talking with each other and they're kicking the black people out in the process who have been in that neighborhood for over 100 years and have the culture of that neighborhood and made it what it is. So while, yeah, I see what you're saying with the capital part, it is still white people and white people just talking to each other and buying that shit up. Like, it's the white person that lived in Long Island that their great-great-grandfather lived in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And they just own that building now. It's like, I've been trying to get rid of this shit. Thank God. Give me that $1 million. Kick everyone out of that shit. So while I see what you're saying with the Capitol, and I do agree there, it's different because it is still white people dealing with white people.
You can't play both sides of the fence. You can't agree with what I'm saying and say it's white people dealing with white people.
Yeah, but it's tough to buy that shit now because the property value is so insane now that it don't matter your race. That's a lot of fucking money to try to now buy it up.
I know. I tend to think people get distracted by race often at times because this country moves on money and race.
Yes.
But money's important too. If it's a white person without no money, they got a name for that too.
White trash.
Yeah.
And I will say there's a lot of poor white people out there.
Yeah.
100%. So, I mean, that ain't racism.
No.
And we ain't give y'all that name.
No, I'm only speaking. I can only speak for what I know.
Black people can't call
New
y'all.
York City.
Well, and with our history, this country's history can't call white people.
But isn't
trash.
it a lot of like gentrification? Isn't it based on like I think like people have to vote on like approving certain things like.
Yeah, that's part
if you
of
want
it.
to like real estate projects,
all that
like,
zoning and stuff like that comes to a vote.
I feel like there's so much red tape that African Americans have to go through.
It still is racism.
Man,
because
y'all
of,
are like hopeless.
No, I'm not hopeless. I'm a realist.
Y'all sound that way.
No, I'm being a realist.
Yes,
capitalism.
Yes, there's all the red tape
Right.
in the world to get through. Yes, Rory, white people are still running shit in the majority of places. I think that all of that still comes back to we still are able to gentrify.
Oh no, I'm not saying we're not able to. I'm just saying that I know that they would make it very difficult.
Which is like that's life for a black person.
Yeah.
They make everything different.
That's all I'm
Fam,
pointing out.
I was just reading about how fucking Ice Cube was trying to buy some television network. Him and Will Smith and Snoop and somebody else. A lot of
African Americans with money.
Yeah, they shut it down.
Together. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is still America.
But that's all I'm saying is that it's very difficult for us to gentrify because
but that's like telling me the sky is blue. Everything is difficult for us. But that's
all I'm saying.
I was speaking more to the property value that's been risen now. When we bought property, it was not what New York City is now. So it was cheaper, and we'll sell it for less money because we bought it for pennies. So for black people to buy back the community now with the property value in, let's go with Brooklyn because that's what we're talking about, it's triple what it was. And on top of that, there is racism and it is black people. So America is not going to want to go with it. It's fucking nuts how much you'd have to pay to buy back the neighborhood now. Fucking insane.
Shit, have you ever
That's
looked
the
at
only
trying
thing
to
I'm
buy
getting
property
at.
in New York? I have. That shit is unreasonable.
And New York fucking property tax.
Thankfully, the way to hundreds and thousands of millions and billions and trillions is in your phone. Mm-hmm. This is not the old guard anymore where we were just forced to operate in the confines that the government provided. Mm. That's not what's happening. And if you just look out in the world, I've been talking a lot about tech versus the government, and this is why. They are going to try to find some order in it. Mm. And at some point, listen, it's not all that. It wasn't no mistake a few months, years ago. Hey, we should charge for the internet. They keep trying to. We should charge for whatever they were saying. What were they saying?
The net neutrality.
Man, if you get the fuck out of here, they're gonna keep trying to come up with something to stop you niggas out there from getting in your phone and just doing whatever you want to do. This is not free will out here.
Yeah.
This is a fucking dictatorship.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, we can get in our phone. They can the nigga. High school dropout, you think they want me making some money? No, you can't stop it. You can't stop it. Nobody, listen, blackballed, it's me. So, I mean, y'all know my story.
I get it.
Guess what? You can't stop it no more.
Right. I mean, again, I understand.
You think
that.
Gangbanger Nip is the nigga that they wanted with some money to even be able to have investors and your word means something to go get with some niggas with some money? It ain't even about us having money. Now, niggas could go get with some niggas with money. Guess what? Everybody has money now.
Not everybody, but yes. I know what you're saying.
Of course not everybody.
Right.
But see, when you don't have money, you make the mistake of thinking you just need some money.
Right.
When you get some money, you realize, oh, everybody got money. It ain't really about the money. It got to be something else too.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more.
Yeah,
it's definitely a lot more than just money.
That was
relationships are very important.
That was off on a tangent.
A good one.
But there's a way. Let me just say that. There's a way.
There
Yes.
100% is. I was just trying to explain what the climate is
But
in
let's-
2019. That's
but let's
all I was
give
trying to
a- but
explain.
let's-
Of course there's a way.
But let's give a
And
little.
I'm not trying to be that negative.
Let's
in it.
offer some hope. Then let's sound. Then let's sound like.
I like that, Joe.
Let's sound like we offering some hope. Hey, we very aware of where we are and the conditions and what's going on in the climate.
Well,
we know.
We have a podcast, so I was trying to give what the other
I mean,
side is and what it is right now.
A great way of accomplishing that is together. You know what I mean? Like if we come together, there's nothing we can't do. But that's the difficult part, is getting people to come together on one accord and say, okay, we're gonna build back up our own communities. We're gonna spend money in our own communities. We're not gonna outsource and go to these different neighborhoods and spend money there. Like, no, we're gonna support your business. I'm gonna go up the block and support his business and people that look like me. And then we're gonna build up our buildings. We're gonna keep our buildings looking a certain way, our streets, our neighborhoods. Like, if we do it together, I mean, there's nothing we can't do. But that's the hardest part of all of this, is getting together on one page. You know what I mean? And that's why when you have examples of people that are doing it like a Nip or like Hove that are doing things, it's like you got to look at that and say, okay, I may not have the money and, you know, the relationships and the capital that Jay-Z has, but I can do my part in my community. I can support my community.
You are absolutely right, Maul. That's why, you know, it goes unsaid here, but for me, it's very important that this podcast has 2 black dudes and 2 white dudes. Like, we don't speak about it often, but it's important that all sides are represented. It's important in all the different types of conversations we're having. Like, it's important. And even the fact that we're fucking friends and we kick it the way that we kick it, and it's important that all that shit is just displayed. For me, anyway. Like I posted a picture of myself and Ian on my Instagram, and one of the fans said, "Wow, how could Joe have all of the views that he has and have a white partner or a white manager or something like that?" And it's like, huh? Like,
What does that mean?
Well, that's what I was saying. What does that mean? Listen, you got if you saying that to me, you got me all the way fucked up, and you need to maybe listen to a few podcasts or see where I stand in terms of white people and black people. I don't hate white people. I don't hate white people. Actually, if you want to have a real conversation with me, I think it's all a distraction, and Russia's got the whole country just pimping it out. I mean that's Joe's brain.
Beyond Russia is just the economy. You know what I'm
Those are the
saying?
scary
The
white
wealthy
people.
versus the non-wealthy.
It's world domination, Parks.
Yeah.
I said it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm sticking to it, goddammit.